Haaland versus Aguero. Erling Haaland just can't stop scoring. Famed for being a tough league, Haaland is taking the Premier League like a duck to water, smashing the Premier League hat-trick record in a quick-fire against Nottingham Forest in 35 minutes. The Norwegian's triple marks the first back-to-back hat-trick in the Premier League since Harry Kane did it for Tottenham Hotspur in 2017. Haaland's start to life at the Etihad Stadium has already begun the debate about whether he could end up breaking the city's goal-scoring record of 260 goals across all competitions set by Sergio Aguero. In this video, you'll find out the head-to-head stats of legendary Sergio Aguero and prodigy Erling Haaland. Before that, like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Also, turn on the bell icon to stay updated. No doubt, Sergio Aguero is a legend. Nobody can take that away from the hearts of the fans, with his incredibly important goals in the modern history of football. Audacious Haaland matched Aguero's Premier League record 2018-19 season of consecutive hat-tricks when he scored a triplet of goals against Nottingham on the rear of his 3-goal haul against Crystal Palace. Haaland is stepping into the huge shoes of Man City legend Sergio Aguero, who also made an electric start to life at the Etihad Stadium. The 23-year-old is wreaking havoc on opposition defenders and leaving managers startled with his sheer proficiency in front of goal. He now takes his goal tally to a staggering 9 goals in just 5 games for City. Haaland's 9-goal haul has made him the fastest start of any Premier League striker in history through 5 games. Until Haaland, nobody had scored 2 Premier League hat-tricks in less than 21 matches, but Haaland did it in 5. After joining in 2011, Sergio Aguero scored 8 goals in his first 5 Premier League matches, a joint record with Newcastle legend Mickey Quinn. And now, the 2 iconic strikers have been blitzed by Haaland, who has 9 in 5 games. It's quite frightening that Haaland already has a head start. A 23-year-old Sergio Aguero came to Manchester City from Atletico Madrid for $44 million and went on to score 184 top-flight goals. Kun Aguero, as it said on the back of his jersey, made his City debut on August 15, 2011 versus Swansea City. He tallied 2 goals and an assist in that match and never looked back. Over the next 10 seasons, Aguero scored 260 goals in all competitions, making him Manchester City's all-time leading goal scorer. And with his 184 Premier League tallies, the Argentine is also the greatest foreign-born EPL goal scorer ever. 9 goals ahead of Frenchman and Arsenal legend Thierry Henry, 175. In addition to being one of the greatest individual players in Premier League history, Aguero is arguably the key piece of the greatest club turnaround in the EPL. Man City went from Manchester United's noisy neighbours to a multiple Premier League trophy-winning club. Aguero also scored the greatest and most dramatic goal in the club and likely EPL history, with his 2012 title-winning score at 93 minutes 20 seconds of the final game of the season. He will live forever on the blue side of Manchester, which leaves Haaland with big boots to fill. But the former Dortmund man has not failed so far, shattering the Premier League record by scoring 9 goals in his first 5 appearances, and sending the football world into a nightmare is no coincidence. Stats comparison. Haaland now has as many Premier League hat-tricks as players such as Sadio Mane, Son Heung-min, Eden Hazard and Gareth Bale, all inside his first 5 games. It's simply incredible. Aguero is City's all-time top scorer, with 260 goals, a record he broke back in November 2017. But if anyone in world football can feel his boots, Haaland could well be that man. Let's dive into Haaland's stats and compare them to Aguero's numbers from the 2017-18 Centurion season. Goals. The biggest comparison is the number of goals put up by each of these elite strikers. In 17-18, Aguero scored 21 goals from an XG of 17.5, an over-performance of 3.5 goals in total. In contrast to this, Haaland has also scored 21 goals from an XG of 16.6, which gives him a slightly higher overperformance of 4.4 goals. Manchester City averages 18.1 shots per 90, and this level of creativity will suit a striker like Haaland down to the ground. This season, Haaland has averaged 3.3 shots per 90, compared to Aguero's 3.8 in 17-18. For Dortmund, Haaland has scored at the freakishly good strike rate of 0.97 goals per game, while Aguero averaged 0.66 goals per game for Man City. Similar to Aguero, the vast majority of Haaland's shots come from inside the box, as he's only taken 3 out of his last 80 shots from outside the box. Haaland has scored at least 3 headers per season for Dortmund, compared to Aguero's 5, but it is Norwegian forward who offers a greater aerial presence, who wins just 0.4, although this is also a reflection of how Manchester City usually plays into players' feet in the final third. For now, Haaland is the first player since Aguero to score 2 goals in his Premier League debut for Manchester City. Haaland scored 2 goals in Manchester City's first win of the 2022-23 Premier League season against West Ham United. 1 goal in the first half, 36th minute, and the second goal at the 65th minute. Aguero's first game was on August 15, 2011, but he was not a starter during that game against Swansea City. He was a substitute and entered the game in the 59th minute. That game ended 4-0 with 2 goals scored by Aguero. This season, Haaland has played 5 matches. He has 12 shots on target from a total of 21 shots and has scored 9 goals, 6.65 xG, averaging 12 passes per match with a pass completion rate of 81% and has 1 assist. Creative output. As well as chipping in with goals, Pep Guardiola requires his striker to be as much of a creative outlet as a finisher. But how does Haaland fit that mold? When it comes to each player's creative output, Aguero is comfortably ahead of Haaland, although a contributing factor to these numbers will be the fact that he played in a Pep Guardiola system. Aguero averaged 1.6 key passes per 90, compared to Haaland's 1 key pass per 90. Aguero also sees more of the ball and has a greater number of touches due to him getting involved with more of the build-up play. The Argentinian forward averages 25.1 passes per 90, compared to Haaland's 19.4. Aguero also tends to keep the ball better than Haaland, with a pass completion of 82.8%, compared to 71.3%. Work off the ball. As we know, Pep Guardiola also demands a high work ethic from his forward players off the ball. When the Spanish manager first arrived in Manchester, it was wondered whether or not Aguero could adapt to his demands, which he did. Aguero averaged 11.3 pressures per 90 whilst working with Guardiola, and 0.23 tackles won in the attacking third of the pitch. Haaland has been able to match Aguero's pressing numbers for Dortmund, which will be music to Guardiola's ears. He averages 13 presses per 90, although he's not won any tackles in the final third. Speed. Aguero's max speed of 34.47 km per hour, 21.42 miles per hour, would put him amongst the current Premier League speed demons. Aguero's max speed of 34.69, 21.56 miles per hour, puts him marginally ahead of the likes of Rooney. But this is a little shy of the former boat rusher Dortmund man that sprinted 60 meters in just 6.64 seconds in 2020. A time that would have put him in the World Championship Athletics indoor final in 2018. It is a staggering feat, as the world record by US athlete Christian Coleman stands at 6.34 seconds. Aguero's legacy. Aguero is the 4th highest scoring player in Premier League history, with 184 goals in 275 games, behind only Alan Shearer, 260, Wayne Rooney, 208, and Andrew Cole, 187. Aguero scored every 108 minutes in the Premier League, comfortably the best rate in the competition's history. He could play another 2,520 minutes or 28 games of Premier League football without scoring, and would still have the best minutes per goal ratio of any top-flight player with more than 20 goals. The Argentine scored 18 hat-tricks in his career, including 12 in the Premier League, a record in England's top flight. He scored 20 or more goals in 12 of 13 campaigns between 2007-8 and 2019-20, reaching 30 or more 5 times at Manchester City. Aguero scored 36 goals for City in the Champions League, the joint highest total a player has managed for an English side in the competition's history, along with former Chelsea striker Didier Drogba. Aguero won 5 Premier League titles, 1 FA Cup, and 6 League Cups, as well as several personal accolades with City. His legacy at City is unquestioned. But a new era has begun with superstar striker Erling Haaland. Will he break these legacies or set his own? We do not doubt that. Tell us in the comments section what you think. And before you leave, like and subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications to never miss updates about Erling Haaland. Thanks for watching.